All right. Well, today we are with none other than Todd Tramonte with the Todd Tramonte home selling team. Here locally, we get to share space in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And Todd, how long have we been working together?
Oh, you have to lead with one. Let me think.
I know. I don't want to date ourselves, but we'll just say years. Years.
Let's say, yeah, it's a decade-ish. It's been a while. Yeah.
And I know that you have a fabulous team, and you've come out of different agencies, now have your own. Talk a little bit about that whole transition and process getting you guys where you are today.
I will give you the million-mile-an-hour view, and you slow me down if you want, because it's a longer story. But I never ever wanted to be a real estate agent, and to this day, I really don't want to be a realtor. And when I do the air quotes, I mean the traditional view of a normal real estate agent. It still sounds like a horrible job at the moment. We can talk a little bit more about what we do want to do in a minute, but I started flipping houses when I was in college. I thought I was going to go into full-time ministry for the rest of my life. I got into seminary I was 2 or 3 semesters into seminary, and I started feeling like, I don't think ministry is going to be my paid role. I think I'm going to do that out of a calling, but not for income, not vocationally. And real estate, I had been doing some flipping, and I was like, well, real estate still will allow me to do a lot of ministry, but I might actually, be able to make a living. And that's kind of where I thought I was supposed to go. So I only got my license to earn commissions on my own investment deals, right? And then the really fast part of the story is, I had a broker I never met. It just got me, kept me illegal. Then we moved up to Dallas, and I went to 100% broker, and I got everything I paid for from my broker, which is about this. And then I started doing fairly well, and I bought a franchise. It was a flat fee discount franchise. It was a 5-year agreement. So I did that for exactly 5 years, not a day longer than I had committed to. I don't regret it. I learned a ton, but it was not it wasn't the right model for us.
Yeah.
And since then, for the last 10 plus years, we've been really legitimately, this is going to sound cheesy, but trying to build a model that actually can serve the client at a world-class level, but also be a model where agents never want to leave. And as an owner, it's fun, and we get to have impact in the world. So that's sort of how we got here.
I love it. I love it. Well, we can both agree that real estate, has been broken for years, and what you feel like you're getting, just the whole painful process on both sides. I mean, we can agree. And then you bring in other people and building team. You train them up, they leave, they become your competition. It's just a broken model. And here you are. You have been so fabulous in having ministry in the marketplace, being able to tell your story, encourage others, train others in the process of running your own business while, kind of moving yourself out of production. So I know we've been through this whole crisis that none of us could have predicted. And talk about your team today. Talk about what you guys are doing, and then also what you're focused on.
Yeah. So as a team, is it okay to say we're having a ton of fun right now? Is that
yes? It's okay. You have permission to be optimistic and positive.
Good, because I was going to do that anyway. So it's good that we're on the same page. We have a radio show here in town on Saturdays, and that's like our mission is like, okay, this is your 1 hour of good news for 2020. Tune in every Saturday at 3:00. We're going to give you good news. So we're having a blast. We have one individual listing agent. We call it a marketing specialist on our team. Most people call that a listing agent, who will close 12 listings this month alone. And less than 2 years ago, had never made more than like $48,000 in their life. They'll obviously make more than that this month. So that's kind of the tone of our team right now. It's like, man, there's a tremendous opportunity. And here's a secret: there's always a tremendous opportunity to meet someone's need, to fill the void, to scratch the itch, to help someone fulfill a dream. We are having to find some new ways to communicate that point without upsetting people, without overstepping. Some things we did differently. We very quickly back in March went to zero-touch showings, virtual showings. In a lot of ways, we wanted to kind of be out front of kind of labeling, branding, naming what some of this stuff is instead of kind of, being reactive. So we got stuff on the website early. We got videos done early. We talked about it on radio early. We kind of wrote some protocols early. We shared those with our coaching and consulting clients, agents all over the world, but we also shared them with agents who we were working with here locally and just said, look, this is how we're going about it. If this would be helpful to you, I think it would serve both of our clients. By the way, I think that's something that agents miss big. It's become normal to hear this whole like, don't have a scarcity mindset, have an abundance mindset. That's not like a real differentiator anymore. But if you really believe that, would you at times share your playbook with local agents? So we kind of tested ourselves on that. And as you know, very few people actually do anything with it. But the simple fact that we shared it was a huge relationship builder for us with other local agents. And then it really helped a bunch of agents around the country that just on their own would never have been able to, or never would have, put that together. So I'm happy to answer more, but I know that's kind of a lot. So that's
well, I know that is literally your calling here in the marketplace, is to help others and help them like collapse time, find an easier, better way to do something based out of our blood, sweat, and tears of trying to figure it out and doing it wrong, all different types. I mean, that's parallel to exactly what we do here at HSRA. And I know that we're thriving as well, don't tell anyone kind of thing. Because I'm looking at all of the opportunity and the way that we're helping clients in new ways, throughout just on multiple layers. And so what are you anticipating? I mean, we know the Dallas area, the market, supply and demand, inventory lower before, and now especially during, and now we're going to be coming out of this. What are you guys talking about this?
Yep. So we, nobody has a crystal ball, but when you do coaching and consulting, people expect you to find an alternative, right? So we do try to read the future as best we can, and we've got a pretty decent track record at it. So what I see coming is, for the most part, more of the same. I think we have just unbelievably, freakishly low inventory, and it's going to be very hard to outpace buying optimism with seller desire to sell, seller inventory. In layman's terms, we in DFW have a ton of people moving here. We have a better job market than almost any other place in the country. Even if all of them are slightly depressed right now, relative to the others, we're still one of the most attractive. We have a relatively low cost of living. We have a relatively low, cost of housing, higher than it's ever been, but still relative to others is very low. All of that, literally, those are the ingredients in the recipe for sustained success, right? Home values should continue to rise. Buyers who want to wait to buy are just waiting for prices to go up. Now, I do think there are some mistakes people are making in the market, and I think people are trying to time a market that is not, our real estate market locally is not the stock market. The volatility isn't there, and it hasn't been here for 9.5 years. For the last 4 or 5 months, I've been saying this is the single best buying opportunity in 9.5 years. Since the end of the buyer windfall of 2008, 2009, when the seller confidence started coming back. Since then, rates and opportunity haven't been where they have. Now, prices were lower, but the ability to say, I bought a house and it's worth more tomorrow than it's worth today, and I bought it at relative, almost free borrowing, in a market that's going to have sustained growth. I mean, corporate relocations, land for development. If you look at all the data, builders still haven't caught up to demand with the amount of building that's going on. There have been some supply reasons, some labor reasons that's been kept in check. I could keep on going, but all of that to say, I expect us to see an exciting real estate market and economy in North Texas for a long time.
Yeah, that's great. Well, it's good to hear that. And you're hearing East Coast to West Coast, we as well. And I know the stagers, I mean, do you feel like, I know we're going to have thinning of the herd, in both of our industries. What are your thoughts on that?
I think your your herd will thin faster than mine. And the reason for that is in our world, your license renews every couple of years. So you don't fully bail until you have to spend some money.
Right.
So someone might bail today and in 3 months, they're like, oh, 2 friends wanted to buy. I'm back, everybody. Woo, look at my social media presence. Still not a business owner, but look at me, look at me. I think in your world, if costs hits you 1 month and there's no clients, you know, you go get a quote real job, you know?
Yeah.
And that happens in our world, just slower for the same reason. I do think there are parts of the country that you and I need to acknowledge are harder hit. You know, if you're in a market, a much smaller market that's heavily dependent on oil and gas or heavily dependent on travel, that's a higher hill to climb right now. And so I don't want to insult anybody by acting like it's not harder for some folks. It's been really hard for us. We've made adjustments and it's been profitable. I would have preferred for none of this to happen. But I acknowledge that that's the case for others. But I think in the world of staging, if less stagers is good for you, then you know you can quietly smile in the dark and we'll high five through Zoom. But you know, my role, which you asked me about earlier, is really to number one is to make sure. Well, number one is my wife and children and Jesus. Then our team members, my job is to make sure they achieve their goals. Then it's our coaching and consulting clients. Are we able to make sure that they're hitting their goals, they're becoming who they want to be so they can do what they want to do? When I look at all of that, there's so much reason for optimism. And I'll just add one more thought and kick it back to you. But there's so much reason for optimism in a buyer's market, in a seller's market, in a high inventory market, and in a low inventory market. If I could encourage, you know, folks that are watching and listening, there's a strategy for every market. But if you show up with a one size fits all mindset or a one size fits all strategy, you know, then you can go at 9/11. You can go at the mortgage crisis. You can use the word crisis if you'd like. You can go when it's coronavirus, or you can see that as an opportunity and quietly high five in the dark with Jana and me.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And, you know, and like you said, it has not been easy for business owners and those that are leading team. You mentioned your priorities there. You've probably had your moments of like, okay, you know, what are we about to do? I got to get my head right, my mindset right, because I am leading teams. So what has your, I guess, how have you been personally through this? What kind of mindset have you taken? And because everybody, you feel like the world's depending on you, you're carrying a lot of weight. I mean, what is your outlook and mindset in the early time and then now to today?
So I'll be honest and vulnerable here, and let's talk about my lowest point first, okay? Probably week 3 of actual shelter in place, you know, I woke up most mornings thinking, I've got to figure this out, right? I've got to make decisions and take action to fix this thing, right? And then you come to the logical reality, which by the way, applies to every market, not just the coronavirus market, where you realize I'm not in charge.
Yes.
I have a lot to be responsible for, and I feel burdened in a good way to help a lot of people achieve a lot of things, but I'm not going to fix this. I can't work my way out of uncertainty here because there's a tremendous amount of it that is beyond my control. I can control what's right here, and I can encourage and lead well, you know, the people that I'm around, and I can get around other people who are wrestling with the same thing. And I think that's tremendously valuable, to encourage people to get around people who at times will say, look, I'm struggling, but also the kind of people that will fuel your fire and encourage you and remind you, and you can do that for them. This is an absolutely unsolicited plug, but I was on a mastermind call that I'm involved in the other day, and Stephen Cooley out of Charleston said like a minute and a half worth of stuff that was just like, you know, put you on the rocket ship, hit go, and like, that will fuel me for months.
Yeah, it was fun.
He was just talking about ways that through this craziness, he stopped and gave confidence to his team. At one point, he had like 129 pending transactions, and he told his team, if you need me to, I will prepay commissions on any one of those transactions you need. Now, that's a confidence builder to a real estate agent, right? Or just to know that somebody personally, as your leader, took the time to be prepared to be able to say that, right? So we may be way off track, but that's the kind of stuff that fires me up. So my low point was when I felt like I had to control everything. My higher points were when I was trying to do what Steven was talking about, right? Yeah. Morning huddles with our team where I was just like, hey, here's where the good news is. Here's where the opportunity is. Here's where you can leapfrog forward for your family right now. Here's where you can leapfrog your business. Here's where you can leapfrog your wealth building right now. And honestly, my favorite moments where I'm working at home and I'm taking a break and I'm hopping in the pool with my wife and kids, and then I'll go do another Zoom. And there's going to be a point where all of us look back. I don't know when it'll be over, but when we all look back and you're like, dude, that was a weird 6 months, year, 2 years, but that was also kind of awesome. Yeah. You know, like I've never been a more present husband or dad or friend, you know, whatever. And I was really challenging my team through it. Like, something in your brain is going to brand this period, right? Like there's a lot of people that know where they were when JFK was assassinated, or when 9/11 happened, or when the Challenger exploded. Like there's these life moments, but you're going to look back and be like, dude, coronavirus? Yeah. What the heck? And you're going to remember it as this time that everything was out of whack, or this time where you like cooked more with your family, or prayed more with your kids, or where you got your balance sheet right, or you actually built out the manuals, or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And those of us that sort of, some people that are feeling like it's over, I don't think it's over. Maybe we're at the office now or whatever, but there's gonna still be a period of time where you have some bandwidth and some opportunity to retool. Mm-hmm. And I would just challenge people with, you know, like when you look back, what's it gonna be branded by? What's gonna be the overarching thing? And I just hope it's something that benefits you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, how will this be remembered and how will you be remembered during this time is huge. And I love that, showing up for your team, with your team, and really leading through crisis, I believe is what makes those true leaders. It really defines them. So such good, I mean, we could talk all day. It's amazing when we do get to connect, and you have spoken at our conferences in the past, I mean, years ago, and just have always been a huge fundamental part of our business here, even though we don't get to see each other all the time. And it's amazing that we can still connect, we can still engage, we're still helping each other's businesses grow through our teams working together. And it's wonderful. And I know that you are now on platform to help others. Tell us how we can connect with you. Maybe realtors are out there, they're looking for a way, somebody to connect with.
Yeah, easy place. You can go to realestategrowthsystems.com. There's some free stuff there. There's some paid stuff there. You know, take advantage of whatever you're into. So if you're a real estate agent and you want to grow your business, and certainly if you want to incorporate staging, we have a 7-step proprietary system, and staging is one of the key steps. Like, it's top priority. We would tell you that if you're selling homes and you're not staging them, you're crazy. Yeah. And you know, we use Jana and her team locally. We've also had them. That's a burger, folks, and it's a really good burger. We also have used the HSRA, certification course training stuff too. And we encourage our coaching consulting clients around the country to use that as well. So if you're a stager, I think the biggest value I could probably offer you, if you wanted to reach out, you could go to realestategrowthsystems.com as well, is we've helped a lot of stagers understand how, as an agent, we pre-sell your services, how we talk about you. Now, in our world, we pre-sell so that when they talk to, you know, Jana and her team, it's not a sale. It's for her team, it's not a selling scenario. It's just a connect, like they're pre-sold. They're ready to go with you. Mm-hmm. Now it's just, okay, which one do you need? Let's go. Yes. If as a stager, if you want your agents doing that for you and you want them to want to do that, maybe we could help you with that. But as a real estate agent, we have coaching consulting literally for that, you know, so get some free stuff, take advantage of all that. We've got a good YouTube channel, but a good starting place would be realestategrowthsystems.com.
That's great. We'll put the link in below. And Todd, thanks so much for spending a few minutes with us today. Best wishes, best of luck to you guys as you thrive and continue to move forward and lead this industry. So looking forward to connecting soon.
You too. Keep helping as many people as you have been. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.